Welcome to Hello Port Hueneme. I'm your host Tom Dunn, and today we're going to be talking with Baltazar Tapia. He is the president of the Port Hueneme Police Officers Association. Welcome to Hello Port Hueneme.
Good morning.
Could you explain to our viewers what the POA mission is, how it's stated and set up?
Yeah, so the mission for the Port Hueneme Police Officers Association is basically to take care of our police officers in the day-to-day operations. We're trying to make sure that they're properly equipped and have the equipment necessary to provide the proper service to the citizens of Port
Hueneme. Now, I know in the past couple of years there's been issues about staffing and overtime and all kinds of stuff like that. What's the current situation on that?
Our current situation with staffing, I know there are a lot of interpretations that are out there. For us, the biggest issue I believe is just being at minimum staffing. Minimum staffing, for those that don't know, here in the city of Port Hueneme is 3 officers per shift. Now we do have a cover car. We have a cover car from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. and we have another cover car from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. One of the hindrances, I guess, of that type of setup is that sometimes an officer calls out sick, so that cover officer now becomes the 3rd officer and we lose the cover car.
So that's where the shortage is sometimes a problem.
Correct.
And the cover guy becomes the head guy.
Correct. So instead of having now the 2 cover cars with the 3 units that are working their shift, now we're back to the minimum staffing of 3. So that benefit is no longer there. Sometimes it is allowed to be filled, but we're trying to work on that issue right now.
Another issue that you're facing, I understand, is you have an interim police chief right now.
Correct.
And what is the status on that, and what's being done, as far as you know, to maybe find a permanent police chief?
Well, I think through the conversation we had with the city manager, we did have a meeting with him, and he basically came forward and told us, look, the biggest priority for the city right now is finding a permanent city manager, which we understand, and next is to get our finances in order to find a finance director. So we were told we're roughly looking at a time frame of about a year to a year and a half for a new police chief for us.
Okay, well, hopefully that goes, and you find the right person that understands your officers and understands how the citizens of Port Hueneme feel about the police department, and we can get that back on solid footing.
Absolutely.
I think the citizen involvement is very important, and when they are out in the public and at their home, what do they need to do to help the police department in knowing what's going on out there, alerting them to potential problems?
I think the biggest thing is being aware. When you're out and about and you see something that just doesn't make you feel comfortable, it's probably happening for a reason. I mean, people are pretty good at detecting danger around them. Being more aware of their surroundings is huge for us. Also being more careful with your day-to-day. Talking about leaving your purse in the cart while you're going shopping. You don't really need your purse. All you need is your credit card or your cash and your identification. That's it. You go shopping, leave your bag at home, or when you get home, make sure you take your bag. Make sure you take your items on holidays. If you're going shopping for an extended period of time, leave the biggest item to the end to purchase, because there are groups of people that are out there that look at people going into stores, they follow them to their cars, and they will take your property and break in. To just be more cognizant and aware of your surroundings.
There are some issues on the horizon that the police department is going to have to deal with, and I know that concessions you guys have made towards the budget and contract and retention of officers is very important. Those and what other things are you really going to have to focus on coming down the road?
I think our main goal is to keep the people that we have here in our city. That's the biggest thing that I can express from as far as the POA perspective. We've not received a raise in 6 years. We haven't gone out and tried to make that as public as possible. You know, we try to help out the city as much as we can. We're paying our medical, paying our Social Security, so our Medicare, excuse me, and our Social Security now. And we're also went down on our retiree medical. We've gone to a different type of exemption for overtime, where if an officer misses a day in that work pay week, he does not receive overtime until he catches up to the time that he should have worked. So all those make a huge impact financially to help the city.
And what type of services, besides what we see the police on the street, does the police department provide the citizens of Fort Wayne?
I think one of the more unique ones that the city provides is the response to medical calls. Not all the time are we going to be involved in medical calls as far as CPR or providing breaths, you know, before the ambulance gets there. But you know, there have been a lot of times where I personally have done CPR and provided that type of service to the citizens before even the fire department or the ambulance get there. Aside from that, we try to be as involved as we can with the community. We take a personal stance with that, and we feel that being as involved as we can, kind of like the HEART program in Winning Bay, it gets us a little bit more of an attachment to the community that you might not receive from somewhere else. The city, there is a flow to a city. When you work in law enforcement, you tend to know where people are having those discussions, those arguments, excuse me, where people are not getting along, neighbors that are not getting along with other neighbors, families that are having continuous domestic situations. We get to know the people, we get to know who's on probation, parole, we know when warrants come up for certain people, and we go and find them to make sure that we get them taken care of. So it is important to know that when you do know the citizens, you know the flow of the city, you take more control of it, and you try to work towards making it better.
I think we have a great group of guys, and I hope we can, retain them. And thank you for coming and letting us know what's going on.
Sure.
And I want everybody to keep their eyes and ears open because the police department is such an important part of this city, and there's things that need to be taken care of along with all the other problems we have. Thank you, and hope to see you again soon.